everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I am at the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm about to board a CRJ-900 up to Minot, North Dakota. Come along for the flight. What a great airport MSP is. There's so much to do here. There's a station where you can pet dogs, and in the airport mall, there's a place where you can be entertained with live music. The airport is a destination in itself. I'm going to walk from the mall area to my gate. Today my flight is going to be operating out of the A gates, which is quite a distance away from where I am, but I've got a little bit of time, so I'm going to stop into the Delta Sky Club before I board my flight. There are two Delta Sky Clubs at MSP, and I'm going to the C Gates Club because it's on the way to my gate. This club has a warm and inviting exterior. It was previously occupied by Northwest Airlines, which had a hub here at MSP before it was absorbed into Delta via a merger. It's definitely an older looking Sky Club, but I find it to be very cozy. Since I'm visiting during a pandemic, things are a little different, but besides everyone wearing a mask and wrapped food selections, there isn't too much that seems unusual. The food was very good. There's another Sky Club at this airport, and it's near the F and G gates. At that location, food options are different, and the food is served at a much more formal buffet and more suitable for a complete dining experience. But at this club, if you put everything together and take many different items, you can have a full meal. As a Delta Diamond Medallion, I use my choice benefits to give me access to the Delta Sky Club. Right now, I'm at the C Sky Club at the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, and I've got some lunch that I'm going to enjoy just before my flight. My flight today is going to be a very short flight of only about an hour or so, and no real meal service is going to be offered except some snacks, so I'm going to make sure I eat enough right now. Very tasty. From inside the Sky Club, I was able to catch my inbound CRJ-900 landing on runway 12 left. The CRJ-900 is a stretched version of the CRJ-700. Why is there no CRJ-800? I don't know, but if you know, leave a comment in the comment section below. I'd love to find out. I'm going to wrap up my quick visit to this Sky Club with a sweet dessert. You never know what's going to be offered, and this was a creamy and chocolatey delight. It's time to leave this rustic ambience and continue down the C concourse towards my gate. If you have access to any Delta Sky Club, take advantage of it. For me, the best benefit is the complimentary food. I just can't say no to it. Once we leave the Sky Club, we're back into the terminal area that's accessible to all passengers. You gotta love MSP. I am passing through an art exhibit on my way to my gate right now. The A gates are a tight squeeze and are nestled behind the B gates, which are all satellite gates. My gate today is going to be gate A6. Normally this gate is used by a CRJ-200, as are most of the A gates, but today it's going to be used by a larger aircraft, the CRJ-900. Still a regional jet, but a lot larger than the CRJ-200, which you normally find at the A gates. Let's board this plane bound for the Magic City. I'll be sitting in the first class cabin, which is laid out in a 1x2 configuration. I'm traveling alone today, and the single seat is clearly the seat that any solo traveler wants. The 12 first class seats have a width of just under 20 inches. I purposely chose seat 4A today because of the 4 rows in first class, the window is best aligned with row 4. I avoid the first row because the window is often obscured by marks from the jet bridge. Behind first class is the Comfort Plus cabin. Today's flight is being operated by SkyWest Airlines, and we'll be using the SkyWest call sign when talking to ATC. The CRJ-900 is an ideal regional jet. It's not too big and not too small. With a range of around 1,700 miles, it fits very well into many kinds of markets. Overhead bin space, however, is small and only on one side of the cabin in first class. The left side is for the single seat, so there are no bins on this side. Overhead controls are pretty standard, and seat A is afforded 2 air vents with 2 reading lights in addition to the flight attendant call button. There's a cup holder on the side, and recline is accomplished by pressing a small circular button. The seats have a generous pitch. One great thing that I love about the CRJ-900 is that the A seat is a single seat. There aren't a lot of airplanes where you can actually sit in a single seat, but this aircraft type is one of them, and I'm very excited about that. Ground crews prep the flight by loading bags into the cargo bay and fueling the aircraft for the trip northwest.
We'll be on our way in just a few minutes. Once we're in the air, it'll be a 1-hour flight cruising altitude 36,000 feet today. Current weather in Minot, overcast skies, gusty winds out of the northeast, temperatures in the 50s. On your way in, you guys met Liz in the back. We have Kendra that got some pertinent safety announcements. We do.
Seatbelt with your seatbelt securely fastened. Whenever the seatbelt sign is on, even if the sign is off, keep your seatbelt fastened.
Ready for pushback. There are no video monitors on this regional jet, so one flight attendant read the safety demo instructions over the PA system, while the other flight attendant demonstrated the use of the safety equipment to all the passengers. Here we are pushing onto the narrow alleyway. There is not a lot of maneuverability room here, so the tow needs to be extremely precise, and all traffic must travel in the same direction. Once the tow was uncoupled from the nose gear, while still on the ramp, we taxied out towards the runway. I could not believe how many CRJ-900s were parked at the A gates. In the past, I've only seen the much smaller CRJ-200s at these gates. The CRJ-200s make for a much more comfortable fit. There must have been a large regional jet party today, because as my aircraft left the A ramp and started to taxi by the C ramp, there were even more RJs. This is definitely the highest concentration of these kinds of airplanes that I've ever seen in one place. After passing by the long C concourse, we passed by the D gates. Do you see that structure on top of the gate area? That's the Terminal 1 observation deck, and if you have not been there, go there. It's one of the most relaxing places to be at MSP. Check out this brand new Airbus 220. I recently took a trip on one and have a whole video about it on my channel. I enjoy bringing you various aviation videos, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot more to come. We are working our way to runway 12 left, and in order to get there, we need to cross the rarely used runway 422, the crosswind runway. The air traffic controller on the top floor of the Minneapolis Air Traffic Control Tower notices that there is no traffic in the vicinity and instructs us to proceed onto the runway. The coast is clear today and takeoff clearance is issued. Runway 12 left is 8,200 feet long with a heading of around 120 degrees. This runway heading is completely in the opposite direction of our en route phase of flight, so once airborne, we'll have to turn around to the left. What's great about flying up front on the CRJ-900 is that the 2 turbofan engines are mounted at the rear of the fuselage, so the takeoff roll is very quiet. This is a very comfortable airplane to fly on, and the transition between the taxi on the ground to the initial climb out seems seamless. It's a very similar experience on a CRJ-700, but the 900 series has 5% higher thrust engines and a strengthened wing. Our initial climb out will take us over Fort Snelling Lake and the Minnesota River, not too far from where it meets the Mississippi. There's a low cloud cover over the Twin Cities today, so we're not going to see much as we make a turn towards the opposite direction, heading towards Minot, North Dakota. This plane handles the climb out very well, and any bumps while flying through the clouds are minimal. Our flight today is going to cross only one state border, the border between Minnesota and North Dakota, and that will be accomplished at our cruising altitude. Shortly after takeoff, I folded out the tray table, which was in the armrest, as the first-class flight attendant prepared for service. For a beverage, I just opted for a bottle of water, which during the pandemic is in a small bottle with no cup. On this flight, the flight attendant presented a tray with small snack options. This time I had a choice rather than receiving a pre-selected item in a plastic bag like earlier on in the pandemic. I chose the goldfish and the almonds, but did not eat them on the plane. I had a sufficient meal in the Sky Club before my flight. Closing the tray table was quite simple. It folds in half and can be used in this position too. It's easily stowed in the right side armrest. With lots of legroom in this single seat, it is really easy to make a trip to the first-class lavatory. Let's make a short trip to the front of the airplane. This lavatory is located on the starboard side and is small, but it has all of the basic items that one needs in an airplane lavatory. Unlike Delta mainline aircraft, there is no hand lotion in this first-class lav.
It's a bit of a squeeze and it's noisy in here.
When I was done, I promptly made my way back to seat 4A for the remainder of the journey. Clouds were pretty prevalent for most of the flight, but once we were in the state of North Dakota, we were able to see a lot more on the ground. Once we were about 25 minutes from landing, we began our descent and flight attendants came through the entire cabin to collect any remaining service items. We are now ready for our approach to the magic city of Minot, North Dakota. Today, we'll be landing on runway 8, which has a heading of around 80 degrees or nearly east. That's also nearly the opposite direction that we're flying in now, so in order to join the approach course, we'll be passing by the Minot International Airport to the south, then turning around in a right turn near the city of Burlington, and then we'll head towards the runway. This approach to MOT is not very common, and typically the longer runway, runway 1331, is used in either direction. As we get closer to the ground, more details are revealed, such as silos for local farms and ravines that are known as coulees. Here's the town of Burlington, North Dakota, which was founded in 1883. Just around 8 miles to the northwest of Minot, Burlington is part of the Minot micropolitan area, and many of its residents travel daily into Minot for shopping, entertainment, and other needs. We're now approaching the city limits of the magic city of Minot, North Dakota. Our final approach takes us over the North Hill section of Minot, which is in the same neighborhood where the airport is located. Mostly residential, the North Hill is on the north side of the Souris River, which forms a small valley in the middle of the town. Runway 8 is 6,348 feet long and just 100 feet wide and intersects with the main runway near the midpoint. Our CRJ-900 has made a flawless landing. As we roll out on the runway, we pass by the terminal on the right side of the aircraft, so we'll have to double back to get to the terminal.
Welcome to Minot, North Dakota.
Like many recent flights I've been on, this flight is slightly ahead of schedule. I really enjoyed this flight in the first class cabin. Delta recently went from blocking seats during the pandemic to selling every seat on board. I absolutely love the seat blocking, and having a single seat that both is a window and an aisle reminds me of that. There are a few aircraft in the Delta fleet with single seats in first class, and I'm happy to have flown on one of them, the CRJ-900. As a single traveler, if you can score an A seat in this aircraft's first class cabin, all I can say is go for it. And remember that the window is best aligned with row 4. We're now approaching the beautiful Minot International Airport Terminal, which is the largest airline terminal in the state of North Dakota. It's only a few years old and was built to help keep up with an increase in traffic from the oil boom. Only 3 airlines fly to Minot: Delta, United, and Allegiant. The route I flew today on from Minneapolis is the only route that Delta offers. It's time to get off the plane.
Well, I've made it to the magic city of Minot, North Dakota. I hope you enjoy the ride on the CRJ-900.
This aircraft and its crew is going to head right back to Minneapolis after staying on the ground in Minot for just over an hour, so there's a small crowd of people in the terminal waiting to board. Most planes coming to Minot just turn back around to the destination, with the exception of some late-night flights that spend the night in Minot for the morning outbound flights. This terminal has got to be one of the most beautiful terminals I've ever seen for any small airport in the USA.
Why not Minot?
So, why not Minot? What? Say that again?
Why not Minot?
Frieson's the reason. This question and answer came about as a way to get more visitors to Minot, North Dakota. They just asked, why not Minot? And because it gets ultra cold here, people would respond with, Frieson's the reason. I'm visiting during a warmer month, but Minot often gets below freezing during the winter.
Welcome to Minot, North Dakota. The air is so fresh and so clean here.
So why is Minot called the Magic City? Well, in 1886, a railway was extended into the area, and literally overnight, an entire town of tents developed like magic. It happened so quickly and went from so little to a tent city that this became the town's nickname. It's now the 4th largest city in the state of North Dakota. The charming Main Street is where you'll find many stores and places to eat.
One of the best restaurants on Minot is 10 North Main, right here on Main Street.
This place is a must if you're in Minot.
How were the first few bites tasting?
Excellent. Really, really good.
Wonderful.
The food here is fantastic and offers innovative cuisine from around the world that's quite tasty. I tried several unique menu items.
Hassenpfeffer, rabbit with gnocchi. Wow, that's delicious.
Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed my quick trip up to the Magic City. Stay tuned for many more videos like this by clicking on the subscribe button and clicking the bell button so that you're alerted as to every time I post a new video for you.